We're live now. Hey, everybody. Hopefully, you're getting settled in for a really good session today. I'm so excited today for our nonprofit coffee talk. So, you have about 2 minutes to grab some coffee or water or make a last minute dash to the kitchen for a snack or whatever for you to get kind of settled in to join us for the next 30 minutes for a good conversation. Now my phone has decided to start ringing off the hook.
Now that you say that.
I know. I'm going to put mine on Do Not Disturb because. All right, we'll get started here in just 1 minute. So officially. Looking forward to the conversation today, Danette.
So am I. I look forward to this.
Me too. How's your weather today?
It is cloudy and overcast. It has been raining for a week now. Literally for a week now. So hopefully, it's supposed to clear up tomorrow. So
good.
Hopefully it will do that.
And I imagine you've been having cold weather too, like us.
Yes, it has been cold. I was actually singing Rain, Rain, Go Away. You know how we did when we were kids? And I was singing that today.
Yeah, we've had quite a bit of rain, not much sun at all for a week. It's sunny right now outside. It's supposed to be 64, I think, today. So that's headed your way.
Yes, thank God. I'm like, we just want sun.
I know, right?
I don't care if it's cold. Like, just give me some sun.
I agree
at this
totally.
point. Yes.
Yeah. Just sun helps so much.
Yes, I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Just changes your mood. Just
it
a little
does.
bit of brightness makes you a little happier inside. And growing up in Pittsburgh, it was very gloomy city.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So when I moved to New York, I'm like, oh, look at all the sun here. So yes.
Yeah, it's an amazing city. It really is.
Very much.
I'm going to go ahead and it's incredible. There's nothing like it, I don't think.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Yeah, it's incredible. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started officially now. So welcome everyone. Those of you that are tuning in and thank you for being with us today. We hope you find this session helpful. I know you will, as a matter of fact. So I'm Libby V, nonprofit champion and founder of Libby V and Associates. And through visioning and strategy work, leadership coaching, development support, and organizational and board development, our nonprofit leader clients successfully raise more money and have more impact. But not all nonprofits can afford to hire a consultant. So I created the Nonprofit Coffee Talk as a way to provide great content and helpful information to as many nonprofit people as I can. I hope you find it useful. I am always excited to hear your suggestions for topics you'd like us to discuss on a future show, and or guests that you think should appear on the show, including you. So if you have any of that, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am so excited to have as a guest today, Danette O'Connell with the Nonprofit Cooperative. And she's going to talk about we're going to talk about the importance of free services and unrestricted funds. This is a really hot topic with nonprofits, right? And so I think this will be really relevant for you today and help you a lot. So I'm really excited to have you, Danette. Welcome.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk to everyone about free services and unrestricted funds and the importance of them.
Great. And I really appreciate your time today. So thank you for coming on. So just a little bit about Danette. So Danette O'Connell is the founder and executive director of the Nonprofit Cooperative. She has started five businesses and sold 2 of them and has started or grown over 20 nonprofits over the 15 years, a large percentage who doubled their revenue in 1 year. That's impressive, Danette. You know what you're talking about, then this will be a good topic. And she initiated and implemented mergers increased the total revenue by 67% and improved operational efficiency in 5 countries. That's very cool. When I grow up, I want to be like you, being in
I don't
five
know about
countries.
that.
She started 2 membership organizations for growth of over 220% in the first year. And so far, she has grown the nonprofit cooperative by 222%, 222% in 2023, which is amazing. You're headed in a high direction there. It's impressive.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, I'm real curious. Will you tell us a little bit about the nonprofit cooperative, which I will tell you, I almost used that name for something. And then I Googled it and a few came up, or you came up. So anyway, tell us about that organization and
Yes.
what you're doing.
So I started the nonprofit cooperative in 2021 after starting one here locally in New York City and Long Island. But I wanted to go national. And so I started the nonprofit cooperative. We are now in all 50 states of the United States. We are at almost 1,200 nonprofits in our short 14 months being around. So actually 16 months, sorry about that. And we provide free resources to nonprofits.
Wonderful.
And yes, so what I wanted to do is provide all free services, no membership fee, no service fees, no professional development, no networking, literally 100% free. There's like no catches, no gimmicks, nothing behind the curtains, no bait and switch, like literally it's free. So then after I created that, I couldn't stop there, right? Like that just, can't have that. So then I created a foundation where we literally give grants away, unrestricted funds. So,
That's wonderful.
and then we started a program called Propel Your Purpose. So we help nonprofits start an organization, but we don't just help you start. So then we train you for 6 weeks, which we're expanding that to 8 weeks. And then we have workshops for 10 months. And we teach you every aspect of a nonprofit organization. And it's not they're not beginner courses, so anybody can take them. So it's
Nice.
from a refresher course of strategic planning, how to build a board, refresher course of P&Ls, how to properly read a P&L or a balance sheet, to 990s, to how to create a proper CRM, how to fundraise, how to hire people. So every aspect of a nonprofit organization. So we have that and additional programs to help you just run your organization day to day.
Yeah, that's great. So with the cooperative, how are you funding that? Are you getting funders to cover the costs of that? Foundation grants or anything?
So the cooperative is a membership organization. So we have businesses that serve nonprofits. So
Yeah.
they are members and they're the ones who bring the expertise. But what's nice about that is everybody is exclusive to their industry per zone. We're divided up into 3 zones, the East, the Central, and West. So when you go to a council's website and you go and you're searching up an accountant and there's 20 different accountants, you don't know which one's good or which one's bad. With us, we vet every single one of our members. So we ensure our nonprofits that we have checked them out. We know that they're good. We put our reputation on that we have selected the right accountant for you. And that's all of our members, not just accountants.
That's wonderful. That's great. So they pay a membership fee to be a part. Do the nonprofits pay a membership fee, but then they have access to all those services for free.
That is correct. Well,
that's wonderful.
So what's free is us vetting them, not their services.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure that's
yes. Yeah. And that's really cool. What a great model. I love that. It's something that I've always dreamed of doing, and you did it. It's really
Yes, thank
wonderful.
you.
Congratulations, and that you're in all 50 states. I That's impressive. That's a
Thank
lot.
you. It
Yeah.
is, and we just wanted to really get out there and be able to help the nonprofits and
Yeah.
not take their money by doing this. We want to
Yes.
help lift them and empower them to be able to provide the services and do the good that they're doing and not have
Yeah.
to worry about that. And to be able to give them unrestricted funds. But not only do we give the unrestricted funds, we advocate to foundations and the people who are giving to increase the unrestricted funds on program grants from 10% to 25% to
Wow,
really
that's
tap out,
wonderful.
because it
Yeah.
takes more, and I always ask, what percentage is your operating budget to them?
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
it's not 10%, it's 25%, at least 25%. Like, you
Mhm.
can't operate. And
No.
by having such small unrestricted funds, you're crippling the nonprofit from growing,
Mhm.
and or allow them to put some of their operating items into their budget for the program,
Mhm.
right? Like the
Mhm.
rent,
Mhm.
and things like that. So their operating budget, and then to take that one step further, have competitive salaries.
Yeah.
So I'm a big advocate for that. Like, why do
Yeah.
nonprofits have to settle for less pay? Like, why do we do this? Like,
Yes.
we're marching forward having equal pay from women to men, but then we don't have equal pay for profits to nonprofits. And
Yep.
we're the ones working, 60, 80 hours a
Yes.
week doing good, but then we're expected to work for less. And that's
Right.
why.
Yeah, I mean, the nonprofit field has become highly professionalized. Last I looked, it was the third largest employer in the country, the
It
third largest
is.
industry in the country, and if you count number of employees, that's huge. And it's time to change. It's time to change that. Really, I
Definitely
am
need.
with you so much. Yeah, and the conversation about salaries, and how much money you have for what I call infrastructure now instead of um, you know um, what am I just trying to say? Um, Sorry, instead of
It's all right.
overhead or whatever.
Right, right.
Um, you know, it's not sustainable. If you can't pay a living, if you can't pay your ED and you can't pay your staff a living wage, it's not sustainable. People
Not
aren't
at
going to
all.
stay, and you're just going to have a revolving door, and that's hard. It's hard to get to that, but you can get to it, and it's something to aim toward. So I
It's
hear you on
very
that.
hard to grow an organization when you have constant turnover,
It is.
because you lose trust in the community, and
Hmm.
the program itself is hard to be sustainable, because
Yeah.
someone else will come in with new ideas, and they're changing the program,
Yeah.
and it's hard to sustain a program that keeps changing, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, and people don't understand that, and the turnover in nonprofits is so high,
It is.
and it's because they're not being paid enough,
That's right.
right? So they're
That's exactly
hopping.
right. And it's hard work. It's not only a lot of
Very
work,
hard work,
it's hard work. What they're doing
right?
is hard.
And it's a lot of
So
hours, and
yeah.
some people in the for profit are like, well, we work a lot of hours too, and I was just like, I'm not taking that away from them at all,
Right.
but yeah, there's, I mean, if you see what you do, and in some industries, it's mentally straining, depending
Hmm.
on who you're helping,
That's right.
people. So, but yeah, I mean, we gotta level the playing field.
Yeah. So do you want to dig in a little bit about like the importance of unrestricted funds? I love that conversation. I'd
Yeah.
love to hear your take on it too. So
Yeah, so there's a lot of importance of unrestricted funds, but the main one is for sustainability and growth, right? Like, you can't grow if you don't have unrestricted funds. So our goal is to increase the amount to at least 25%. And there's
mhm,
plenty of studies out there that prove that that's the number, right? So
right.
Bridgespan has done plenty of studies on this, and
Mhm.
so large nonprofits have also, and
Yeah, and
foundations.
I think it's growing too, right? There's more and more sort of overhead or infrastructure costs to running a nonprofit when you think about websites and the expectation of social media marketing and, getting an audit done now and then. It's expensive and it's getting
It's
more
very
expensive all the
expensive,
time.
and it's been 10% for over 50 years. Like, we need to increase this now, like 50 years, and audits have gone up in 50 years, to your point,
Right.
right? Like, all
Yeah.
costs have gone up, and, we have to be able to, put it one of the two things have to happen. You have to increase the 10%, or you have to allow these costs to go into a program cost, right?
Mhm.
One of the two has to
Mhm.
happen
Mhm.
in
Yep.
order to. And that's just covering costs. But what about
Right.
growth? We want
Yeah.
to be able to grow the organizations
Mhm.
also. So you
Mhm.
have to allow that leeway. So
Or
being able,
innovate, right? Or
right,
innovate. Yeah. Yeah.
without a doubt. And
Yeah.
so we wanted to be able to promote. So what we've done is we have 9 categories. So we go out, we raise money to give money, right? So what we do is we have our funders select one of the 9 categories. So the categories are social, community, women and men, environment, animals, veterans.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I'm not going to remember
I
all,
get it
but
though. Yes.
and they pull their money together and fill a bucket. Once it reaches $10,000, then we give that money away.
That's
And so we have
wonderful.
2 funding processes a year. So,
Yeah.
they can still give to their cause. They put their money into their cause, so they can
Mhm.
still do that, but it goes out
Mhm.
as unrestricted funds. And
That's
so,
wonderful.
and we just want to keep continuing to be able to give those funds out.
That's so important. And you know what? It feels like such a gift to get unrestricted monies, right? But it really is a strategy, right? Of growing the pool of unrestricted funds as a portion of your budget, and that is, it's it's not easy. There aren't a
Mhm.
lot of funders like you who are open to or give away unrestricted funding, but it is the absolute best funding, isn't it, for lots of reasons.
It is, and we have a unique application process that we haven't heard of anybody doing, but it's a video application.
Oh,
No
nice.
more paper applications. So the video, it has to be between 5 and 7 minutes. There's 4 questions that they have to answer, and it's really simple. It's, what is your mission? What are you passionate about? What would you use the funds for, and how would the funds impact your organization?
Nice.
So, but the main reason why we wanted to do this is I really wanted
Mhm.
to feel the passion that people have for their organizations, right? Like, what impact are you making, and why are you passionate? Like, I'm very, very passionate about these organizations, right? I started these, I'm passionate about them. And you don't have to be the founder to be passionate about what you do, right?
Right. That's right.
So, and we don't grade on the quality of the video. You could be just talking to someone, and I have even guided, some of our nonprofits, get on a Zoom call with a colleague and just have her ask the questions, and you answer the questions.
Yes.
It can be something as simple as that, and just hit record.
Yeah.
You don't have to hire someone to do a professional video or anything like
Right.
that, and
Yeah.
just answer the question, because all we're looking for is the passion. Like, what are you doing? How are you making an impact? And how will this impact your organization? So we received 423 applications. So, and
Wow.
I watched every single one of them. And
Wow.
so it was fun, and it was exciting to watch all of them and see all the lovely people in the US doing the wonderful work that they're doing out there.
Yeah. So good.
And
Yeah,
we
that's
wish we could fund every single one of them.
yeah. I was gonna say that must be really hard to narrow
It's
it
very,
down.
very, very hard.
Yeah. So say the number again of the videos you got. How many applications? Video applications.
423.
And then how many did you provide grants to?
We're not done through the process yet.
Okay. Good luck.
Yes.
Good luck. That is hard.
Yes.
This is wonderful. So, um, you mentioned at least 25% of unrestricted funds, right?
Correct.
Is there like, if you could wave a magic wand, or is there any sort of number that's better? Um, is 25% the minimum, or do you find that that's very functional? Like once you get to that 25%, it's doable.
I think it's reasonable. I
Yeah.
think that 25%, of course, we'd always like it to be a larger number, but I think it's a reasonable number.
Yeah.
I think that stretching it much further, might be asking a bit much, you know.
Mhm.
But I think 25% is a reasonable number whenever you're running a business or a nonprofit. And I always say that nonprofit is a tax status. Organizations are businesses, right?
That's
Like
right.
they should be run by
Yes.
like businesses. We have different roles we have to play by, and there's good being done. So, but at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's a business, and
Yeah,
so
it's a
25% is a good,
mhm.
reasonable operational budget.
Good. That's great, and I feel like that is not too big of a number either to think about,
Right.
getting that revenue in, right? And there are creative ways. I love that you mentioned, this notion of salary increases and things like that, which, definitely need to be accounted for, and some of your salaries fall into that category of programmatic, and some are not, right? Um, and and what I see a lot is this um, budgeting without a strategic plan in place, and incorporating, having a good strategic plan, and then lining your budget up to achieve what you want to achieve in the future, right? So this conversation about unrestricted funds is so important, because you've got to have the ability to do something different, to start a new program, or expand your program, or change your program model, or whatever it is. And that often isn't the case for nonprofits. They often put together a budget with a slight increase year to year, and don't really incorporate all those things: innovation, growth, strategic plan, goals, and those kinds of things. Do you want to talk at all about that? I didn't really ask a question, I just made a statement.
Yeah, yeah, no, but I totally understand where you're going with that. Yeah, it's very difficult. It's kind of like, living paycheck to paycheck, right? Like, and that's what they do. And they're just running the programs, but they never are able to get ahead because they're living
Yeah.
paycheck to paycheck. And we have to be
Yes.
able to give them that extra leeway so that they're able to grow, so that they're not living like that. And giving
Mhm.
them the extra restricted funds so that they can put away and they can save, so that they can have that extra money. And that money could be to grow, to start another program, or to hire more people, whatever the case shall be. But they have to have that extra room so that they can put, so much away, in order to do that. And it could be expanding, like there's several different ways to grow, right? Like,
Mhm.
so you could expand your current program, you can add a
Yep.
different program, you can hire new staff. So there's just, different ways.
Mhm.
But if
Mhm.
they don't have the additional funding, then they're never going to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's right. And it's that notion of, it takes money to expand. It takes money to start a new program. It takes money up front to do all those things, right? So
Right.
often we're like, let's create a new program, then we'll look for funding, and it's that can really be hard on a nonprofit too. It's that investment in development and innovation is important. Um, do
Right.
you want to talk at all about revenue mix? Like, do you talk to your nonprofits about, having a healthy revenue mix, including earned revenue and all those things? And kind of where do
Oh,
you stand on
yes.
that?
Yes. Diversify your income without a doubt. So it should always be, you know, individuals, grants, fundraising, definitely diversify. I mean, I've had a nonprofit who just got, they were strictly getting state and federal money. And then one day they didn't. And you can imagine what happened to that story, right? So it's really, really, really important. I mean, let me just say they did survive because I came in and we ended up diversifying. But just having different fundraiser and really thinking outside that box on different ways that you can fundraise, because you can be really, really creative. And at the cooperative, we're bringing in all different types of fundraising. I'm in the process of doing that, different ways that you can fundraise, right? Because it's not just put your funders into a database and then just contact them twice a year for a gala and a year-end appeal, and that's it. There's a lot of different ways that you can reach out and fundraise. So having individuals trying to get government, trying to get state, foundation, grants, like there's all different ways. And millennials, let's not leave them out. And there's a woman that we're going to have speaking and on how to attract millennials because they have money. And so we got to put those individuals into that bucket, right? So, so diversifying your income is really, really important, because if one dries up, you have to have the other ones to rely on. And they do, especially foundations sometimes change focus.
Yeah.
And so a grant that you may have gotten year after year after year sometimes goes away.
Yeah, I've had that happen in a nonprofit I worked in. $1.4 million was gone overnight.
Exactly. And they don't give you heads up until when you go and apply for it again, and so then you may get 60, 90 days notice, maybe a little bit longer, but usually not. And they're like, well, we've changed our focus and we're not funding this program anymore. And that's a huge chunk. And you have staff under that money. So it's really good just to diversify. And, I think the most important thing is to try not to ever live paycheck to paycheck, try to put money away, even when you're doing your grants. They say they want you to spend every single penny, but leave cushion in there for, contingency always, because, every program needs contingency. Every nonprofit needs a contingency.
Yeah. There's that misunderstanding that nonprofit equals that you can't have a profit. And I hear it all the time. And I say, no, you should have a profit. You should end the year with a net and put it away, and we could talk about that forever. You've got to, because you're not going to survive if you don't have a nest egg. And then maybe from there you could invest a little bit, right? And start to build up that reserve and investments and have that money that can provide some flexibility for you.
I actually call it a margin, because nonprofits get freaked out about calling it a profit. I'm like, okay, call it a margin. I was brought in by a foundation to look at all of their nonprofits that they funded to find out why that they were in trouble financially. And that was the exact same reason why, is because none of them put a margin at all, zero, zilch. And I was like, that's why all of your nonprofits are struggling. And they're like, well, we can't put a profit in there. I'm like, you have to. How do you think you pay for these lights, your rent, your operations? Like, you have to put a margin.
You have to have one. Yeah.
I'm like, call it a margin. Don't call it a profit.
Yeah. So we have to start winding down now already.
Oh, how fast.
So fast. I know. Can you talk a little bit about what you have coming up? Like, I think people are really interested, I would assume, in all this, and would love to know, like, what opportunities there are.
So we have a nonprofit meet and greet coming up on the 9th. We have some workshops coming up on how to write a grant. We have some cybersecurity events coming up, or Ask the Expert. All of our events are interactive, so it's free to sign up. Just go to our website, go to the nonprofit section and register. We have our own social network. I call it our own little Facebook, so you can continue the conversation even after our events are over. And again, everything is truly free. So register for free, and for nonprofits, everything is 100% free.
That's wonderful. I put all your social links in there too, so people can get in touch with you and your web
Wonderful.
address. So, get in touch with Danette or just go to the website that I put in first, and sign up for stuff, get connected. It seems like a really wonderful resource. It sounds incredible to me. So,
Yes. Well, thank you.
now, yeah, now people know where to get in touch. So, this has been incredible. Thank you so much, Danette. I
Yes.
enjoyed
Thank
this
you for
conversation.
having me.
Yeah, this has been wonderful. I love what you're doing. It's absolutely incredible. So,
Yeah.
everybody, I'm sorry. I will let you. I'll pause and let you respond to that.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. And if anybody needs anything or just want to reach out, ask a question, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available.
That's great. Um, And next week, I'm super excited. Next week on May 11th, our guest is going to be Tina Moore, who's an artist for a nonprofit called Passionworks Studio. And Passionworks Studio creates opportunities for all people to explore and socially connect through the process of making art. They have artists that are people with developmental differences, and they're very collaborative. And so one of the artists is going to be on with us next week. She's written a book, and her artwork is incredible, and she'll share some of that and just her experience of being hired as an artist, as somebody with developmental differences. So it'll be wonderful, I think. So join us for that next week. And we have lots of good guests coming up. So see our social channels for the next few. We are here pretty much every Thursday, unless it's the holiday. So we'll be here next week at the same time. Please share our posts with your friends. We'd love to increase our reach, because we think we bring a lot of great information to the social good world. So thanks for tuning in. Thank you again, Danette. And if you'll stay
Thank
on for
you.
just a second after I end the broadcast, then I'll give you some next steps. But thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you next week.